Alright guys, out in Split Oak Forest again. Gonna do a little more walking today. I'm heading out to the far side of the park. It's about a 3-mile hike in, but I ended up finding on some of the aerial photos there's an island out here in one of the man-made ponds. That pond, this first pond, there's 2 ponds in the park. The first one is man-made. There's a canal going to the second one. The second one was an overflow for the man-made pond, and it was mostly marshy at the time. When they dug the trench, it filled that in and created an island in the middle of the pond. And looking at 1969 aerial photos, there was a structure out there on, at the time, what was a peninsula. Now it's isolated by water. I can't hike into it, so I'm gonna get close to it. I've been out that way before, quite a while ago, but I want to see what might be out that way. Like I said, it is a long hike out, but so later in the day I'm not gonna bring everything with me. I have to find a canoe. We'll get out there eventually, check that site, see what we can find. Would be nice to have 2 houses out here on the property. Anyways, we'll get going, start hiking, and I will hit you on a first signal. Alright guys, we're about halfway out right now. It's absolutely gorgeous out today. Walking along Canal Road here. This road is newer, 1980s, so not swinging on it. Guess I could find stuff here, but it's not really what I'm looking for, so we'll hike on a little bit. Thought I'd give you a midway hike perspective, show you where I'm at. Beautiful area. Love this park. Been fighting to keep it a preserve and a park now for a few years, so we'll keep up the fight on this. The last thing we want is to see this get developed. Alright, first signal. Nothing special, just some garbage. We'll get it out of the ground. Okay, so far it's been pretty empty. You can see behind me. All of this was pasture land. This was all cattle pasture. Trees aren't very old, maybe 20, 30 years old when this area became a park. They planted these. So this is just reclaimed pasture. Not finding anything along the road, but I think the road might be kind of new. Let me show you where I'm heading. Up along this tree line, it changes from Highland pines to live oak. The live oak section is actually an older section of forest. That's the area I'm heading to. Up in this area up here, there's a pond. There was a house up here at least as recently as 1969 that I can see on the aerial photos. Can't get to the house, unfortunately, because it's in the middle of a pond. I'll post a picture for you guys to see. Hasn't been a very eventful day. I think we found that one target, found a couple of surface finds on my way out, but we'll get more up into that tree line and we'll see if we can find anything up there. Right, looks like we just found ourselves a very rusty nail or wire. As you can see, soil conditions on this side of the park are very different than the homestead. This stuff is black and very, very fertile. It's retaining moisture quite a bit more than what's on the other side. I've got this great big huge tree right here in front of me. So you can tell it's an older section. This is the native live oak or hammock oak. These tree branches come all the way down to the ground. We got a couple of old roads right in here, so we'll keep swinging, see if we can find anything. All right, guys, just found that sitting on the side of the road, so that's a good sign. This, I believe, is for a plow. Not a really old one. Turn of the century. Really beat up. Really rusty. But definitely cool. I'm not carrying that with me right now. I'll have to bring the wagon back out later and get it. But we'll lean it up against the tree here. Cool. Signs that I want to see that there was a house out here. Alright guys, I just hit the end of the road. You can see behind me, there the pond is. And there's the pond. You can see we're beyond these trees, where the tall trees are right there. That's actually the island in the marsh. I tried to walk through there before, but I can't get through. So we're gonna loop around to the other side on the land. You can see it's kind of higher up here. We're gonna walk through this woods, see if we can't get a higher vantage point of where the homestead was. Alright guys, so this is kind of unusual. We got a raised berm right along here. You can kind of see it down here where that burned out tree is. We've got dirt, but that's a good 3 to 4 feet higher than everything else. That is definitely man-made. I'm gonna follow this up, see where it goes to, what it might have been. Maybe the elevated road going in. All right, so I climbed that little berm. This is that side of it. But if I spin you all around, you can see this was the road. So that berm actually lifted this ground up. And this is where this was the road going in. Just dropped down over here. You can see there's game trails still here. And the road actually followed right along that thing, all the way down. There's our tree over there. And this would have been road going in. Looks like we might have another one right there. And this one that's still a road, but I'm kind of doubting nobody's using it even for hiking right now. Cool, we'll keep going. You can see the lake. I'm standing on the old road here that we just discovered. That's the island. The house structure I'm interested in finding would have been right in there on the island. So the open area over beyond the trees on that side until you get to the tree line is a marsh. Not a good area to walk in Florida. You can see the old oaks out there on the island. That used to be a peninsula. And this goes out a little ways. We'll try to get down into there. See if there's an entry point there. I think there's a spot I can launch a canoe from over there and get out to the island. I just gotta find a canoe. I'm still walking the old berm road. It opened up. This would all be low pasture land and marsh back in the day. This was the road coming into the homestead, so definitely promising. Would have been lifted a little bit above where the marshy pasture was. Cows here in Florida, they can handle the pastures that are low marshy like that. It's pretty dry. This would probably have water in it during the rainy season, so definitely cool. We'll keep going. The old ridge. We came out on another road, another old one. This looks like it might go right down into the lowlands across from the homestead. There's another little road right there with a low dip. There was a lot of traffic out here back in the day, and I didn't realize that before, so this has been a pretty productive little hike, even if we're not finding anything with our hunt today. It'll definitely pay off in the future. This is the kind of research you've got to do. If you want to find relics in a specific date, do your research. Do some walking around out in the woods where you're hunting. It's amazing sometimes the things you'll find. Cool. We'll keep looking. All right, guys. So I just came a little ways down that road. I was just standing right up there. There's another road right here that intersects it. Comes down along the woods right there, past my metal detector, off. It just disappears into the lake. Now this would have gone right out here, through the lake, to the other side, turned around in the marsh, and came up right about there, which is where that house structure would be. I'm gonna see if I can get a little closer over in this section and get some good views of it, but this is definitely promising. I should be able to get a canoe or a kayak right into here without much problem, preferably a canoe or a john boat, because I do want to get my gear over to the island. But yeah, that's definitely a plan. You can also see where the other road was that I came through, where I found the plow. If you look in a straight line from here, you can see it. I'm standing in the middle of the road here, and the plow was just up that road right there. So this went straight across the pond before the pond was there. This pond has only been here since the 80s, so that tells you something. That's a good sign. I just noticed something else about this road, particularly where it's dropping down into the pond. We've got gravel down here. As you can see, that's all little rocks and gravel. This is not native Florida terrain. This was put in here to help keep the road up. So we are definitely looking at homestead potential in here. Having gravel coming in this close to the water is not native Floridian. And we got gravel all the way back to there, all the way up towards where the water was. So this was brought in to stabilize the road that used to be here. Very cool. First decent find. That one came in pretty high. It's an old tin #1 tag. Hole up there, hole down there. This would have probably been nailed to a post or something up like that for the homestead. So maybe the address was out here on this. Honestly, I don't know. It's the first number tag I've ever found, so that's kind of cool. Hey guys, I'm heading back to the car. So this was mostly just a scouting mission. Get out, walk around the lake, see if I can figure out how I'm going to launch over to the secondary homestead out here. Sad news is my trenching tool, my Cold Steel Russian Spatska trenching tool, is somewhere out here in the woods. I don't know where. It's my preferred dig tool. Backtracked, walked back around almost the entire lake looking for it, because I was walking into some pretty dense areas. I'm not very hopeful that I'm going to find it. Definitely not going to find it tonight. The sun's already getting ready to go down. So hopefully we'll find it on another excursion. I do have a backup tool at home or in my car, so that's a good thing. But makes for a rough day. But anyways, good scouting mission. We got to see where the roads went on the lakes. We found that big plow piece, so definitely a good piece to find. That's a good sign out there. And we found that #1, that house number, in the gravel. Finding gravel over there means that somebody was trying to stabilize the road right there when it was marshy. Gravel does not show up on Florida ground very often, and even when on a road, they don't tend to use gravel. They tend to use seashells as road fill, not gravel. So definitely unusual, definitely cool. Definitely gives me hope, if I can get out there, that there may be something out on that island. Anyways, got swamped today. See y'all later. Alright guys, back out in Split Oak. Next day, ba-boom, happy rat. Figured out where I dropped it. Wasn't where I thought. Out in the middle of saw palmettos. Kind of got lucky on that one. See y'all later.